So many people just struggle to differentiate between just narcissistic traits and full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. How do you explain that spectrum?
Yeah, so I think I mean I'm saying this sort of in a general way, not like diagnostically, but we can argue that many of us have these kind of narcissistic traits. We all have moments where we feel very proud and good of ourselves, good about ourselves, that we like to talk about an accomplishment that we had. Maybe we're somewhat perfectionistic at work. Maybe we don't always hear other people's opinions. So these are some of the narcissistic traits. But yes, that's very different than the personality disorder. And the main distinguishing feature, there are a few of them, but one of them is almost a complete inability to take somebody else's perspective into consideration. So in other words, other people don't really exist in their life, like in their own, with their own mind, their own opinion on things, with their own life. So that's one of the distinguishing characteristics, is that they do not tolerate separateness very well. And at work, this could be okay, especially if they're in a management position or at a very high, because people sort of look up and have to follow what they say, right? Because if they're in a leadership position and they're the boss, although this leads to other problems, which we don't need to get into, but the problems typically show up in intimacy, in relationships, because many people, when they get in a relationship, they want to feel like they actually exist, right?
Yeah, right.
So they tend to get into some problems there. And that's when you start to see more of the full blown, or more like meeting the diagnostic criteria for NPD, is one minute they feel good, they have everything in control. And the next minute, when someone disagrees or has a different opinion, they feel completely deflated. So there are a lot of oscillations. And that goes back when you said, I'm surprised that people would come in for treatment. But that's the whole grandiose structure, because it's constantly up and down. It's very rare that it's consistently up for years or decades at a time, because reality just gets in the way.